Good morning Year 6 and welcome to Tuesday's maths lesson. Now before I start I just want to give out some dojos for... Can you hear something?
Year 6. MI6 requires your assistance. It has transpired that a number has been stolen. It is unknown at this stage in the investigation which number this is, which is why they require your skills. Now, we have been informed that they will not simply accept guesses of which number has been stolen. This, to them, is an example of poor spy work. Therefore, it is essential that you are specific with your questioning skills. You could ask questions about whether the number is odd or even, for example, or whether it is a prime number. MI6 will be searching for examples of mathematical vocabulary in your questioning, and I am sure that they will be more likely to give you assistance in the investigation should you do so. Good luck with your mission, agents. We will be around to assist you on the Year 6 at French email address in order to provide you with some assistance in this investigation. Good luck. Well, while the investigation is ongoing, we'd better continue with our maths lesson. So, the LO for today is to use the 4 rules with fractions. Now, it's a bit of a recap of all the different things you've learned about fractions so far. Adding fractions, multiplying fractions, subtracting fractions, dividing fractions, and you will apply those skills to slightly more complex reasoning problems. So, there's a lot of vocabulary that you will need to use in this lesson, but hopefully none of it is new to you if you've been following our YouTube lessons. So multiply, divide, add, subtract, area and perimeter. Now I will talk about those in a bit more detail because you might just need a little bit of revision. Missing value and inverse. Okay, before we move on and do anything else, I would like to do a little recap of what you've learned so far. So you've got 4 questions. Pause the video now and have a go at answering those. Welcome back, Year 6. So it's my turn now to show you how I would have gone about answering those questions and hopefully how you've answered those in your books or on your piece of paper. So question 1 required you to multiply fractions. So 2/5 multiplied by 1/3. So you know that when you're multiplying fractions, you multiply the numerator and then multiply the denominators. So 2 multiplied by 1 equals 2, 5 multiplied by 3 equals 15. Well done if you got that one right. Moving on to question 2 then. Now question 2 was based on our lesson yesterday. It's dividing a fraction by an integer. So remember, the first thing you need to do is to remember that strategy that we talked about yesterday. Can you remember the catchy song in your head? It's been in my head all day. Keep, change, flip, multiply. Yeah? So 2/5 divided by 3. First thing we need to do is turn the integer into a fraction, which should give you 2/5 multiplied by 1/3 equals 2/15 as well. Now, questions 3 and 4 require you to think back to some work we did on BIDMAS. Now, BIDMAS is the mnemonic that we use to remember the order of operations. So if you've got a number sentence that has got brackets or more than one operation, there's a certain order you need to follow because some operations in a calculation are more important than others. They need to be carried out first. So question 3, you can see we've got 1/3 plus 1/3 in brackets. Now B is at the start of BIDMAS. It's the most important operation that we need to remember. Right, I've got to do that one first. So 1/3 plus 1/3 is what you need to complete first, which is 2/3. And then you multiply that by 2, which gives you 4/3. And then finally, which operation do you need to carry out first in question 4? Take a look at BIDMAS. Yeah, so multiplication is more important than addition and subtraction. So 1/3 multiplied by 2 equals 2/3, and then plus 1/3 is the same as 3/3, and that is the same as 1 whole. Okay. Right, now before we go any further, I want you to take a look at these questions. So I'll show you these two first, and just have a think to yourself, how would I go about working these out? So feel free to pause the video now on the first two questions, have a little think. And now pause the video on these questions and have another little think. How would you go about answering these questions? Can you spot which operation you need to use? Okay, welcome back. Now we're going to start by going through this first question. Now, there is a word here, and in the second question there's another word, perimeter and area, that we haven't covered in a long time. So let's just recap. Now, the perimeter of a shape is the distance around the edge of a shape. So you can see in the picture there, it's the distance around the outside of the shape. And then the area is the amount of space inside a shape. Now, to work out the perimeter, you simply add the lengths of each side of the shape. And then to work out the area, you multiply the width by the length of the shape. Now you can see that we measure area in the number of square units that makes up the inside of the shape. So that means when you write your answer, you need to, let me just get my pen, write however many units it is, and then square that amount, okay? Right. So let's take a look at this question then. We need to work out the perimeter of the rectangle. Now I've just remembered that the perimeter is the area around the outside of the shape. So the length of this side is 3¼ meters, and the length of this side is 1 1/6 meters. What do you know about rectangles? Is there anything you know about the shape that could help me work out these lengths? So you might have spotted that the opposite sides in a rectangle are the same length. Okay, they're the exact same length. So this side is also 1 meter and 1/6 of a meter. This side here is 3¼ of a meter as well. So to work out the perimeter, we need to add all of these together. So 1 1/6, add 1 1/6, add 3¼ and 3¼ So the way I'm going to do this is to add the fractions first. So I'm going to add 2/6, so let's cross these out as I do it, and 2/4. You will remember that we can't add these fractions yet. The denominators need to be the same. So this fraction here is 2/4. Now I know straight away that that is the same as a half because the numerator is half of the denominator. Yeah, 2 is half of 4. So thinking about 6, well, if 6 was my denominator, what's half of 6? 3. So 2/6 add 3/6 equals 5/6. So of course you could use the lowest common multiple as well to work that out, but that was the most efficient and the quickest way of working it out. So now we've added the fractions, we now need to add the whole numbers, which is the easiest bit. So 1 and 1 is 2, 3 and 3 is 6, so that gives us 8 and 5 sixths. And don't forget to put the unit in at the end, the metres. Right then, this time you need to work out the area of the rectangle. So have a little look, have a little think. What do you think we need to do? Yes, so when we're working out the area, you need to multiply the height by the width. So that gives you 3/4 multiplied by 2/3. So when you're multiplying fractions, you multiply the numerators first. So 3 multiplied by 2 equals 6. And then 4 multiplied by 3 equals 12. Can we simplify this fraction? Yes, you can. You can see, funnily enough, it's the same as the last question, isn't it? 6/12. Well, 6 is half of 12, so I know that that is going to be equivalent to 1/2. And because you're working out the space inside the shape, you need to put that squared after your unit as well. Okay, so 1/2 metre squared. Okay, now it's our turn. So I want you to have a little go of this first before I explain. So let me just read the question. 3/5 of a litre of orange juice is shared equally between 4 people. How much orange juice does each person get? Pause the video and have a little think. Welcome back. So, knowing what I know about mathematical language, when I see the words shared equally in a word problem, I instantly know that that refers to division. So let's have a look at the numbers in my question. So I've got 3/5 of a litre. That's important because I'm going to need the unit at the end. Of orange juice is shared equally, so it's divided between 4 people. So 3/5 divided by 4. Now I know I'm dividing my fraction by an integer, so I need to use keep, change, flip. So I need to turn my whole number into a fraction by putting a 1 as the denominator. Then I'm going to keep the first fraction, change division to multiply, and then flip that fraction around. So we've got 1/4. So 3/5 multiplied by 1/4, 3 multiplied by 1 equals 3, 5 multiplied by 4 equals 20. I can't simplify that fraction anymore. I need to make sure that I use the unit in my question as well, in my answer. So the answer is 3/20 of a litre. Okay, have a little look at this one then. Work out the missing number. So I would start by converting this mixed number so that the denominator is the same as this fraction, because then I could use the inverse to subtract this fraction from this fraction in order to work out this one. Okay, because this 2 2/3, this represents the whole and this is part of the whole. So as a part-whole model, which is a different way of looking at it, it would look like this. So 7/9 add something else equals 2 2/3. So firstly, I've converted the mixed number into an improper fraction. So I've got 8/3. And then I've multiplied the numerator and the denominator by 3 to give me 24/9. Now I've got the same denominator as that fraction there, 7/9. So the next thing to do is 24/9, subtract 7/9, and that gives an answer of 17/9, which would count as the correct answer. Or you could convert your improper fraction into a mixed number, which would give you 1 8/9. So either 17/9 or 1 8/9 would count as correct answers in this instance, because the question doesn't tell you how to express your answer, so either one is okay. So here are your chili questions for today then. This is chili 1. Here are another 2 questions for chili 1. Chili 2. And here's another question for chili 2. Here's chili 3. And here are the answers for the chilies. So there's chili 1, chili 2, and chili 3. Now for question 9 on chili 3, there are various answers. So there are different possibilities. So if you send in your answers to Year 6 at French Primary, we can check those for you.